My name is Kwame Opari, and I'm a dance educator. And I wrote a paper that I presented at the National Dance Education Organization Conference in Chicago 2014. And I want to share that with you now. It's called Organic Spinach Tastes Like Candy. And it's about getting young people to approach education and take ownership of their learning by making education palatable and making it something that they can access and that they feel comfortable accessing to improve their self-efficacy. So organic spinach tastes like candy. Make them eat it. Get them to trust you. That's first. If you have to wave the spoon around and make jet engine noises to distract them from their reticence, then do it. If you have to douse it with agave or have them chase it with honey or juice, then do it. If none of your learned or researched methods work, then maybe spinach is not the veggie for them. Perhaps they will come to like it as their palates develop with tasteful experiences and age. Or perhaps it won't and they detest spinach for an eternity. But from here on out, they will understand and know that while spinach may not be something they enjoy, green leafy vegetables are something that is good for them and contain necessary nourishment for their health and development. Get them to eat the spinach, knowing that it may not taste as good as candy or perhaps it's not as sweet and savory as a cheeseburger, but eat it knowing that all things that are good for you may not be delicious, or at least not at first. But we eat it knowing that it will do something good for us. We must get the nourishment at whatever the cost. That's the ownership we want to have in education for our young people. Forget about the buzzword, the phrase, the method, or the tactic that's trending right now. Use it only if it helps you to get them to eat their spinach and not just be able to remember what spinach is or that it's supposed to benefit them so that eventually they may check it off on a multiple choice testing situation. If you're in the classroom, then you know that these students could care less about what spinach is. So it's up to us to create the reality where they not only know, but care and must know more, even if it's only to refute our claims of its goodness. Knowing is the thing. Let's stop trying to get them to believe. Get them to know. And yes, getting them to know, we get them to know by getting them to trust us. But trust and belief are not synonymous. Knowledge leads to wisdom, something that belief has never been famous for. You can make belief, while knowledge can only be attained. Knowledge is truth. Belief is relative, subjective, and debatable. My childhood friend Wandishi Johnson used to joke when we were amongst our dance and drum teachers who were from West Africa, and listening to them speak their native languages, we'd look at each other, and with a knowing grin, he would often whisper, "I just listened for my name, son." It was an adolescently humorous way of making fun of a language we didn't understand and how it sounded, and a little at our own ignorance. But to students, teachers sound like those foreigners did to us, and they're not even listening for their names. However, if we begin to pepper our orations with things that sound familiar to our students, then perhaps they will not only understand, but will give a care to know more. The other day I discovered the app Google Translate and how it had a feature that allowed me to speak a phrase or a word I wanted translated, and then the app, it would play it back. And I thought that was amazing. And so I have classes with a very large ESOL 1 population. And being a dance teacher, not being able to speak the language of my students does not render me helpless, because so much of the lesson is kinesthetic. However, the full experience of learning must be diverse no matter what the content area. I need to be effective through speech and writing as much as a math or social study teacher need to be effective by getting their students out of the desk and up moving. So what happened? I saw my Spanish-speaking students as a group come alive for the first time. They laughed, they booed, they snickered, they applauded, and they had fun. They fully experienced the class. We all did together. We are ineffective in our as educators unless our instruction is Google translated, so to speak, to all of our students in a language that they understand in a way that directly addresses how they learn. And it also teaches us. I've learned so much from them being able to communicate with them. And once we address them and how they learn and speak in a language that they can understand, then they won't simply listen for their names, but they'll insist on being a part of the conversation.